Oh, yeah, here we go. On a Friday afternoon, no less. Mardi Gras starting to crank up big time. Gotta like that. Corey Johnson with you on a Fantasy Friday. We got about 10, 11 days. What? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. About 11 days till Mardi Gras Day. Yeah, this weekend's a great Mardi Gras weekend, and this weather's outstanding. You could literally go to the parades tonight like in short pants and short sleeve shirt. As long as you're not out too late. Right now, it's 72 degrees and sunny. Just a glorious day in New Orleans. 72 degrees and sunny. And let's see, by 10 o'clock, it'll be 55 degrees. Absolutely amazing. Tomorrow morning when we wake up, right around 49, 50 degrees, and then heating up to about 65. Sunday, wake up to the mid-40s, heating up to about 68. And the 10-day forecast right now looks absolutely outstanding. Next weekend, a rinse and repeat of what we're having right now. Might even wake up a little warmer, like low 50s going into the mid 60s. Are you kidding me? Basically 50s and 60s and sunny through like next weekend. Keep your fingers crossed. Hope the meteorologists, the weather forecasters have it right. And we could use just an extra couple of more days. We don't need rain on Lundi Gras or Mardi Gras Day, that's for sure. Ash Wednesday, it can rain. It can downpour on Ash Wednesday. That would be all right. But we need this kind of weather, 50s and 60s for the next, week and a half would be absolutely outstanding. Are you kidding? About 1 million people will be invading the metro New Orleans area in about a week. By this time next week, next Friday, it's ground zero for Mardi Gras. Doesn't get much better than that. The big parades leading into Fat Tuesday, Mardi Gras Day, just a regular Tuesday around the rest of the country, not here. As good as it gets around here. Hey, speaking of it's as good as it gets, not once, twice I was at Katie's in Mid-City this week. I went Wednesday night for steak night. Every Wednesday is steak night at Katie's. You get a filet or a ribeye with shrimp. Start off with a Caesar salad. That steak, the ribeye or the filet, comes with green beans on the side and those killer Katie's potatoes. I mean, the Katie's potatoes are almost as good as the steak. Then you get Scott Craig's bread pudding dessert with the whipped cream. And you can pick a cocktail or a glass of wine, $39. It's a 10-ounce filet. It's about an 8 or 10-ounce ribeye with shrimp on top. Grilled shrimp. Yeah, Wednesday night, Katie's steak night. Today I went with about 4 friends from the old radio days. Guys I started in radio with like 30 years ago. And we had a nice lunch at Katie's, 5 of us. Started off with those killer onion rings. I got a fried shrimp platter. It was fantastic. Put a little lemon on the shrimp. Really good. One guy got a shrimp po' boy. The other 2 got the special off the board. One of the 5 or so specials off the board, the double cut pork chop. Really good. As New Orleans as it gets, Katie's in Mid-City. A great place a week from tomorrow for Endymion Saturday. Parking across the street for like $40. And then you head into Katie's and get a little pre-parade meal. Head to Katie's after, pick up dinner, get some snacks, some mixed drinks, beer, water, soft drinks, whatever you want. Katie's in Mid-City, Iberville Corner, Telemachus. Check it out this weekend. Brunch tomorrow, brunch on Sunday, dinner tonight, dinner tomorrow night. They're open throughout the day. Katie's in Mid-City. Speaking of Katie, Scott Craig will join us in about an hour. Get his selections for Super Bowl 60. San Fran Bay Area. You know what I'm loving about this Super Bowl? First off, San Francisco is a world-class city. You folks that are like, I don't like California, I don't like Hollywood. I hear you. That's your prerogative. I love California. I love traveling and visiting California. It's been a few years since I've been, but San Diego, Los Angeles, San Francisco is my favorite. I mean, New York is my second favorite city outside of New Orleans. San Francisco is definitely in my top 4 or 5. San Francisco is just an incredible city. The entire metro area is phenomenal. And, you know, you go north, you're in wine country. You go south, Monterey, Carmel, the Monterey Peninsula. What's not to like? Incredible. But also the greatness of San Francisco for a Super Bowl is a little bit of its weakness too. It's such a vast, huge metro area, nearly 8 million in that metro, that a lot of media members, NFL people, folks that are going to the game, covering the game, a lot of complaining about traffic, a lot of complaining about having to drive for an hour to one venue to the other, check out one team practice. You got to go way across town to go check out the other team practice, and it's more than across town. Santa Clara, where the game will be played, it's about 45 miles from San Francisco. I think I said it best the other day. It would be like New Orleans having the game. You know, New Orleans has the Super Bowl. And hear me out. Like Seattle's practicing in Slidell and New England's practicing in Laplace. There's a press conference on the West Bank, and then later another press conference on the North Shore, and the game is at Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge. That's kind of what you're getting. Definitely time-wise, maybe a stretch on the miles. Tiger Stadium from the Superdome, probably 75 miles. Santa Clara from downtown San Francisco, the stadium, about 45 miles. But the traffic to get there is equal to going to Tiger Stadium. So that's kind of what you're dealing with in San Francisco. And I think for a while, the NFL, you know, they award Super Bowls to cities that build new stadiums, upgrade their stadiums and the like. And I get that, tossing them a bone. I get it. Little incentive. And they'll continue to do this. And they'll continue to have a game in like Atlanta or Dallas or Houston or Phoenix. And probably, you know, obviously LA with their new stadium, SoFi, and San Fran, Miami, even the great cultural cities. I mean, the other ones I mentioned besides LA, really no one's interested in going to necessarily. Not a lot of culture, and no one wants to go to Dallas, Houston, or Atlanta. No one goes there for vacation. And the media, the NFL people, the fans, they don't want to go there. They want to go anywhere the game's being played, but there's better places. Even San Fran and like Miami, you're driving across town. You're driving for miles. You're in traffic forever. Kind of sucks. There's a lot of people complaining about San Francisco and the traffic and all that. And not only that, complaining and then saying, man, the game should be in New Orleans every year. That kind of sentiment, which is absolutely great for us. I am keeping my fingers crossed that the NFL does the right thing. You know, the NFL and the Saints, and really the NFL, I'm sure, pressuring the Saints. You want to bid on that 2031 Super Bowl? You better get your lease straight with the state and the Superdome, Saints. So the NFL is putting pressure on us locals, like, get that lease done. Get your NFL lease done, or you can't bid on the 2031 game. So we get that done. The NFL says you can bid on the 2031 game. The NFL knows that because of conflicts with Mardi Gras and conventions that are booked like 10, 12, 15, 20 years in advance. Their conventions booked in the 2040s in New Orleans right now. Now, the NFL knows this. They know there's a conflict from like 2032 to 2037. Like New Orleans can host in 2031 and New Orleans can host in 2038. If they wait till 2038, we don't get the 2031 game, it'll be the longest stretch between Super Bowls. In the last 2 Super Bowls we had, this 13-year gap is unacceptable. And I think the NFL is realizing that. New Orleans is too good of a spot to have a decade-plus separation between games. So I'm not confident, but I feel like it's a better chance than not that we'll land the 2031 game. And who knows, we might land the 2038 game after that in a few years. But let's focus on 2031. We deserve it. The NFL people, the fans, the media, they want it in New Orleans. And the San Francisco Super Bowl is kind of proof. They're like, this is a pain driving all around. New Orleans is so compact, within a mile of each other. You have the Superdome, the Convention Center, the French Quarter, 30,000 plus hotel rooms, hundreds of restaurants, and like 50, 75 plus that are outstanding restaurants, really, really good. So everything is dense packed in one little walkable area. Don't have to get in the car, don't have to commute, don't have to sit in traffic for an hour. So no, we're pretty fortunate. This is a good thing. No, I'm very fired up for New Orleans maybe landing the 2031 Super Bowl. Hey, Johnson with you on a Friday. Stick around, New Orleans. Got a lot coming your way on this Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Don't move. We might even go to Milan, Italy. Hook up with Fletcher Mackel.
Scott Craig of Katie's Restaurant.
All of my ingredients are fresh. Nothing comes out of a can here. Nothing. All of our seafood is Louisiana. All of our vegetables are Louisiana vegetables. It's a neighborhood restaurant.
Katie's in Mid-City.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Outdoor dining, Middle Eastern cuisine, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, some of the city's finest lamb chops and shish kebab, Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn, Lebanon's Cafe.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, insagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, insagency.com.
Word is, one of the best restaurants in New Orleans isn't even in New Orleans. Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville. Cross the lake and taste what you're missing. Tuesday through Saturday. Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville.
Artificial turf custom golf putting greens. Beautiful, functional, zero maintenance. Call New Orleans' own LGD Lawn and Landscapes and get your free estimate. Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on Magazine, as unique as you.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Yeah, you right. Welcome back, Crescent City. Corey Johnson back at you. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. I think I'm hearing Italian. Fletcher Mackel joins us live from Milan. What up, Fletch?
Corey. I'm talking softer because I am actually at the in Milan right now covering the Olympics, and the cauldron coming in right now. And if you're watching on live TV, I'm standing here in a media scrum, and they're about to light the cauldron, one of the most beautiful opening ceremonies, the pageantry of Italy, Milan showing off. And I'm here in a scrum right now watching this presentation as they prepare to light the cauldron here in Milan.
Holy smoke. So what, the last few weeks they've been running that torch around Italy?
Yeah, they've been at the San Siro soccer stadium, and then the cauldron is in another area of town, and they're about ready to light the cauldron here in the next couple of minutes. The game started on Wednesday. I already covered U.S. women's hockey team winning their first game. Figure skating was today. Look, we're not a winter Olympic city just because of our climate and our weather, but New Orleans did have the #1 rated Summer Olympics on WDSU, and our people are passionate about their sports and love their sports. In the pageantry, I think I used that word already, of the Winter Olympics with the skating and the skiing, the Lindsey Vonn story, it's going to be pretty big even in New Orleans. And Milan is one of these cities that, look, I got to go to Paris and it was a fairy tale. I'm not sure who I'm going to have to donate a kidney to at my company for sending me to Paris and now Milan. But this is a pretty amazing professional experience.
Boy, so really tonight's in a few minutes, the official start. But I love how they get some stuff going before they light the cauldron. You mentioned Lindsey Vonn. You had some posts on your Twitter account. What, a torn ACL? She tapes it up and flies down the mountain at 75 miles an hour?
Yeah, she's bionic. I'm going to have to go after this. Okay. It's happening now. So, yes, Lindsey Vonn, what she's doing is insane and bionic. Corey, love you. Gotta go.
Yeah, you're right. That's Fletcher Mackel. Thanks so much, Fletch. We'll keep following you. Fletcher Mackel live in Milan, Italy. The Olympics on Channel 6. The Super Bowl's on Channel 6 this Sunday. They got some great sporting events going on. Now, Fletcher's done a great job on Twitter. You know, he's done a really good job. Follow him on Twitter. I think it's at WDSU Fletcher Mackel. You can find it. Just go to the little search bar and follow his stuff. He's posting a lot of stuff that you'll see on TV on Channel 6, and he's posting a lot of just stuff with his cell phone, you know, just shooting some video with his smartphone and posting it on Twitter. Really great stuff. He's been there about a week or so. He's going to be there for more than 2 more weeks. He's posting stuff on all the other Hearst stations. Great stuff. Fridays with Fletcher Mackel, a quick one. From Milan, Italy. We'll take anything we can get. Now, I'll tell you one thing about Fletch. First off, there's no money being passed from me to him. He strictly comes on Fridays with Fletch every Friday. Might miss a Friday or two a year, like let's say 48, 49, 50 times a year. He joins us live on Friday. Most of the time for a couple of segments, like 20, 25 minutes. And just does it being a nice guy. You know, as a friend. I mean, it's pretty damn cool. I really appreciate it. And, you know, it's 7 hours ahead. So it's like, 10:20 or 11:20, 11:20 in Milan right now, nearly midnight, and posting that stuff on hold. I'm hearing a bunch of Italian in the background. I mean, what a great experience. I mean, these are lifetime great experiences for Fletcher Mackel. In Paris a few years ago, now in Milan, Italy. You can't beat that. Coupled with it's paid for by Hearst, by NBC, by Channel 6. But no, he works his tail off. Early morning till late at night, you know, probably getting 6 hours of sleep and then right back at it again. Pretty cool. Fletcher Mackel joining us from Italy. It is a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. 72 degrees tonight. Get to Uptown New Orleans, the Uptown route, Napoleon to St. Charles, down to Old Lee Circle, Tivoli Circle. Yeah, I'm not calling it Harmony Circle. That's not the official name. Lee Circle was never the official name. Tivoli Circle is the legal official name of that circle, Tivoli Circle. We should just go back to that. That's a beautiful name. Shows our, you know, European heritage. And the only reason it became, quote, Lee Circle, because in the late 1800s, 1880, 1890-ish, they put up the Robert E. Lee statue. That's the only reason we refer to it as Lee Circle, but it's Tivoli Circle. From day one, it is still officially, legally Tivoli Circle to this day. Go back to that. Harmony Circle is sort of silly, and I'm into harmony and unity and all that. But there's Harmony Street down St. Charles. It just gets a little confusing. Harmony Street does not run anywhere near Old Lee Circle, Tivoli Circle. Anyway, the usual parade route up to Canal Street. Get on down there, uptown, Garden District, CBD, Canal Street. Tough to beat uptown Mardi Gras. I love it. I'm probably going to head down there. I got some folks that are usually around St. Charles and Milan, a few blocks off Napoleon, right down the street from Fat Harry's, the legendary bar that's been there for 50 years, since the 70s. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. You got to be stoked. You got to be fired up. Mardi Gras getting into pseudo full swing. Early in the week, we were in first gear. Now we've engaged the clutch and we're in second gear. Next week, uptown parades every single night. We'll be into like third gear by then. And then by next weekend, shifting into fourth gear and right into fifth for Mardi Gras Day. Yeah, I'm using the old school 5-speed manual transmission gimmick. Not today's transmissions, the automatics that have 7, 8, 9 speeds or more. Yeah, the old 5-speed. We're in second gear for Mardi Gras 2026. Michael Heck's going to join us from Ocean, the parade tonight. We'll get his take in a few minutes. And I'll broach the subject. We talked about it last year. New Orleans needs to figure out a way to make Mardi Gras 2 weekends for the tourists. It's not going to make much of a difference for us. We're in the mode right now. But like, say, last night, Thursday, through this Sunday, this weekend before the big weekend, we need to figure out a way to label this. You don't want it to be pre-Mardi Gras. You want it like, I don't know what you would call it. Someone needs to come up with a creative name for right now through Sunday. And then we need to get a bunch of tourists recognizing it and coming down for, the parades for this weekend. I don't know if we'll get as many for, next weekend going into Fat Tuesday, but we could get a big spike of tourists that aren't here yet. The tourists arrive, mid next week. Tuesday, some. Wednesday, it gets bigger. Thursday, it explodes. And then by Friday, it's monstrous, and the tourists are in town, through the weekend, through Mardi Gras, especially those beyond Louisiana and the Gulf Coast region. Those folks might come in Saturday, Sunday, but folks that are traveling from around the country, around the world, they come in like mid next week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday type thing, and roll till, Ash Wednesday when they beeline out of Dodge. If we could figure out how to make it 2 weekends, this weekend and next, for the tourists, where we could get, few 100,000 coming for this weekend and then leave it on Monday. And then the million that come next weekend. It would be just fantastic. Got to figure that out, because the economic boost could be worth hundreds of millions of dollars extra if we can pull off that gimmick. I'll talk to Michael Hecht about that in a few minutes. The Dieball parking garage at Tulane caught fire today. Now, it's a concrete structure. My best guess is some vehicles parked in the garage caught fire, and my second best guess assumption would be an electric vehicle. An electric vehicle caught fire. And, when those batteries catch, it is pretty brutal. They burn for a while, and the fire can spread, and maybe a car with a, regular internal combustion engine gas tank could have caught on fire as well. But if you go to my Twitter at Corey Johnson or other social media, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, we have videos posted there of that Dieball parking garage on the Tulane campus, and orange flames and black smoke billowing out on, like, I don't know, the third floor of the garage, roughly. Corey Johnson with you. Boy, Donald Trump's social media post with the Obamas, like 2 apes in the jungle, and Barack Obama on one and Michelle Obama on the other. And Levitt, the White House press secretary, saying it's, Lion King reference, Don't take it too seriously. Like Hillary Clinton was like a wild boar. Her face was on a boar. Some other Democrats, Pelosi, were on other animals. But if you don't think it's a problem, that you have, oh boy. Hello, can I help you? Hi. Wow, how is that happening? That's strange. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mario Brothers, a.k.a. Latinx. That was a weird one. Anyway, if you don't think that's racist, then there's something wrong with you. Caroline Levitt, justifying anything Donald Trump does, and then Trump removing it from his social media, like pretty quickly. But no apologies yet. I mean, J.D. Vance was asked about Preddy that was killed in Minneapolis. Do you owe the Preddy family an apology? Right away? Why? Why would I owe him an apology? It's like, wow, really? Just sort of defend anything, Defend anything. You can like Trump, you can dislike Donald Trump, but he's just another president. He's not God. He's, these folks that greatest president of all time, Caroline Levitt, greatest press secretary of all time. It's just over the top ridiculous. If there were Democrats doing this, Republicans doing this, I'd call them each out. It's just ridiculous. Let's cool the jets, relax a little bit. Love Donald Trump all you want, dislike Donald Trump all you want, but people need to just chill a little bit on all this. Kind of crazy. But no, a ridiculously racist post, just not even believable, and was removed from Trump's social media. Hey, I've got the real Drew Brees story. Drew Brees last night, you got to love it. The greatest Saint player of all time. And I have Ricky Jackson as not number 2, but 1A. Drew Brees, number 1, first ballot NFL Hall of Famer, joining Ricky Jackson and Sam Mills and Willie Rofe and Morton Anderson, but jumping ahead of them in the sense that he's the first Saint first ballot NFL Hall of Famer. Right when he's eligible, boom, he's in. And deservedly so. He should be a first ballot Hall of Famer. But I'll give you the true story. Stick around for that. The true Drew Brees to New Orleans story that might be a little different from what you hear.
Home Flood Business, 504-556-0809. Dave Miet, INSAgency.com. Dave Miet Insurance Agency. Auto Home Flood Business, 504-556-0809. Dave Miet, INSAgency.com.
South Shore residents that love good food are making the short trip across the lake to Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville. North Shore folks have known about Gallagher's 527 for years. Now the South Shore has discovered this hidden gem. One of the metro area's best restaurants is less than 30 minutes away. Take the quick trip across the lake and experience Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville. As good as it gets.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Isn't it time to have that dream backyard you've always wanted? LGD Lawn and Landscapes can make it happen with artificial turf installation. Synthetic turf gives you the look and feel of natural grass. You get a beautiful lawn without the ongoing expenses of maintenance and no puddles, meaning you won't be tracking grass or dirt into the house. Let LGD come to your house and give you a free estimate. NOLALGD.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. It's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again. Ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters' 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now. Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
That's pretty appropriate. The NOLA Coalition spot with Michael Hecht's voice on it as we lead into Michael Hecht live, not recorded, in Uptown New Orleans. I think he's around Napoleon and Tchoupitoulas getting ready to roll. What's up, Miguel?
Yeah, huge crowds out here already for first parade, first night. Neutral ground almost totally full. Weather is absolutely spectacular. We're talking about maybe like 72 degrees out here and breezy. I see Juan LaFonta coming up to say hello to me. He's rocking. Yes. Mike Hecht, my girlfriend Angie. Hi, Angie. How you doing? I'm on doing a radio show. I can't talk to y'all right now, but I like that Gucci thing you got going on. See, Corey? That's how it is.
Hey, Juan, it's a billboard. You have too much information on it for me to read doing 60 miles an hour, buzzing by it, buddy.
He fights for you. That's all you have to know.
Oh, wow. So does Big Frida. Hey, Michael, if you can find a cloud in the sky, I'll give you $100.
Nope. I'm skint. The sky is cloudless. Humidity is low. This is Mardi Gras perfection. This is the God shining on us.
No, it really is. 72 degrees, blue sky, sunny. And then, Michael, in the middle of your parade, it'll dip down to about 55 is the low. I mean, absolutely perfect. And more good news, this is pretty much the weather for the next week and a half.
It makes such a difference. I mean, look, people will power through Mardi Gras no matter what. But when you have days like this, nights like this, you do feel like you're being given a gift.
No doubt. No, thank goodness for the weather cooperating. It doesn't get any better than what we're experiencing right now. Hey, Michael, we talked about this last year. How do we come up with I'm calling it a gimmick where, like right now, like say yesterday, today, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday of this weekend, the weekend before next weekend and the big Mardi Gras weekend, how do we split Mardi Gras into 2 weekends, sort of like Jazz Fest? Now, I'm not saying we're going to double down on the tourists. We're expecting like 1 million tourists next week, but we could get a few 100,000 coming in this weekend. How do we make Mardi Gras like a 2-weekend thing? I mean, I think first off, we got to come up with a creative name.
It. Like this parade that I'm in tonight, Oshun, is trying to promote itself as kind of more of the family parade. So I think it's about kind of maybe promoting this first weekend as more of the family weekend. I think that could work. And just getting the word out there because people want to come down, but sometimes they're intimidated by the crowds or even the prices. So I don't even think it's a gimmick. I think it's here. I think it's just about getting the word out and marketing, right?
Yeah, but I think family's sort of like Metairie and that kind of thing. And I think you're making sense for the locals, but I want to get national and international tourists coming. I mean, for instance, if someone from Minneapolis comes next week and they come in for, Friday night, and they go to Endymion on Saturday, Bacchus on Sunday, Orpheus on Monday, and fly out Monday night. When they're back in Minneapolis, they're telling their friends they went to Mardi Gras in New Orleans, and no one's concerned if they were there on Fat Tuesday or not. So how do we get this weekend where we get national and international tourists coming in for this weekend, and then a whole nother group coming in next week?
No, I think it's a New Orleans and Company thing. I think it's a marketing thing, 100%.
Yep, got to come up with a name 100%. For it and figure out how to market that because,
Mardi Gras, it's not just for Tuesday anymore.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. That could be the motto, and next week it's going to be, they're saying like an $900 million economic impact, Michael. If we could pull a few $100 million this week, that would be incredible.
Yeah, no, it's nice. And it's also, I think, with so much nonsense going on in the world, people are just ready for, a little bit of this kind of like lighthearted, nobody's going to die. Let's just like get out there and celebrate this moment. And that's, I think, what Mardi Gras is best about.
Yeah, it's New Orleans at its best. I mean, we are, Friday, the weekends were great. We're trying to get our Monday through Friday 9 to 5 stuff together, but really great. This is what we do best is Mardi Gras, parties, festivals, celebrations, food, music, people having a good time, great weather when the rest of the country's, snowed in.
Snowed in, iced in, just a dump. Yeah.
How about the projections, Michael, for 2026 Mardi Gras? $900 million economic impact.
Oh, no, I believe that, man. I mean, the hotels are full, the restaurants are full. And you got to also just remember the brand impact, which helps us out beyond Mardi Gras. Everybody that, thinks about this place as being warm in every sense, the culture, the people, the weather. It's, it's an incredible, I think, part of why people come here all year round, not just tourists, but conferences also.
And I don't know how you guys, New Orleans and company, could come up with tens of millions of dollars in free advertising. I mean,
well, we'd have to talk to Walt about this. We got to get Walt on the show next time and push it on him.
Yeah, no, because I mean, next week, every news station in America and a bunch around the world will be shooting video, showing video, have a story about Mardi Gras in New Orleans.
Yeah, no,
priceless.
I agree. We should make it like a jazz. What do you think about the Jazz Fest lineup this year?
Oh yeah, French Quarter Fest too. The expanded footprint of French Quarter Fest. How cool is that?
I love French Quarter Fest. I kind of prefer it. Kind of lower commitment, I mean, if Jazz Fest is kind of like going cave diving, right? It's an incredible experience, but there's a commitment, right? You can't just leave.
No, and no, you can't. French Quarter Fest, you could come in the morning, go back out for a few hours, come back in for the evening. And in 4 days, they do about 800,000 people. They do a few 100,000 more than Jazz Fest over 8 days. So both are, similar and both are different. They're both great for the city.
Yeah, no question at all, man. Trying to think of what else is happening. There was a groundbreaking today. I guess it was for Hyundai up in Ascension Parish. We've got some really exciting announcements coming soon, Corey. Singles and doubles for you, man.
That's a grand slam home run. I give Jeff Landry credit. I think he goes overboard with the control of these boards around the state, but going to South Korea and landing a nearly $6 billion Hyundai steel plant, what a coup, Michael.
Yeah, he's just Jeff and Susan Bourgeois, his secretary, and everybody, they're just in it to win it. And it's not a matter of technical expertise. It's only a matter of attitude. Do you want it? Because that's what companies want to know.
Yep.
They want to know somebody who's going to take care of them. So, no, the attitude is fantastic, man. And I think we're going to get a lot of stuff coming in the space sector soon, too, which will be very cool for us.
No, I like hearing that. We need something out at Michoud, New Orleans East to stabilize that whole situation. That Hyundai steel plant, not only supplying steel for Hyundai and Kia vehicles, but other North American car plants are going to be buying steel from there. So that thing's going to be a huge success.
It all ripples. I mean, that's why these projects are very rarely, in isolation, right? They almost always lead to other suppliers, other opportunities. Everything is, you're either in a positive cycle or a negative one. And I think we're in the city and in the state, we're in a positive economic cycle. There's a ton going on in energy and shipbuilding and defense. Our defense sector is just growing like mad. So, yeah, I think I'm more optimistic than I've been probably in over a decade. Corey, seriously.
I saw a great tweet. I was mentioning some LNG projects in Louisiana, and a guy tweeted back, how do we get Woodside Energy to base a headquarters here in New Orleans? They're an Australian-based company building LNG in South Louisiana. And Venture Global, they're based out of Virginia. They've got a headquarters in Houston. How do we get Venture Global, Michael, and Woodside Energy to put their LNG headquarters in downtown New Orleans?
That's starting to happen, actually. We're going to have an announcement, I can't say yet, but about one of those coming very soon. We've just signed the deal. We're waiting to do the press release. We've had Well, I guess Delta Utilities is not exactly the same, but they're from Baton Rouge, put their headquarters in New Orleans. So that's starting to happen. And I think that's the move for New Orleans.
Yeah, I mean, we've got the LNG facilities. We should have the headquarters here. Texas doesn't have any LNG, and Venture Global's headquarters is Virginia and a headquarters in Houston, Texas. We need them in the CBD of New Orleans.
Exactly, man.
Hey, Michael, have you heard? It's sort of an indirect story. San Francisco, I know you love that city. It's one of my favorite cities. They're going to do a good job hosting the Super Bowl. But I was mentioning to someone, San Francisco's like, Seattle's practicing in Slidell. New England's practicing in Laplace. There's a press conference on the West Bank, and then there's one after that on the North Shore. And the game's at Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge. So people are complaining about sitting in traffic for an hour plus, having to go 40 miles in one direction, 50 miles in the other. And people are actually complaining about that and saying things like the Super Bowl should be in New Orleans every year.
Yeah, no, they're right. I mean, you couldn't get something further away from New Orleans than what they're doing. And it's not San Francisco, it's in the Bay Area.
Yep.
I mean, Santa Clara is honestly an hour and a half drive from San Francisco. So, no, I mean, everything that made this place shine, the organic culture, the density, the joy at hosting events, none of that exists what they're doing. If they're just going to be, going in, in luxury buses from one thing to the next, and that's going to make the whole experience a lot more sterile, a lot more disconnected. No, I mean, and also it's cheaper to do the Super Bowl in New Orleans because you don't have to send people all over the place. That's why Goodell wants to have it back here. 23, if we get it in 31, that's just 6 years later. That's quick.
Yeah, I hope so, because the next available date's like 2038, and that'd be the longest gap ever. I think the NFL is figuring that out, Michael. I know they're going to award new cities, new stadiums, games, and they should. But then I think they're going to do less in like Atlanta, Houston, Dallas, where like no one wants to go. No one goes there for a vacation. And I think that they're learning that about the game.
Yeah, the game is, and nobody dislikes New Orleans, right? It's hard to hate having it here. It's hard to resent it. So, yeah, it just seems like an obvious default.
Hey, Michael, my next thing is no more Chinese throws and no more plastic throws. And that seems to be gaining traction. Like people are throwing things that you keep instead of throw away. Are you seeing that with Oshun tonight?
I agree. I'm for glass beads, special items, and let's cut down on this plastic plushy crap. Nobody wants it.
Nope.
Nobody cares.
No, exactly. We're making a few dozen Chinese guys millionaires, and they're sending us garbage.
The prices are outrageous.
Yeah, and it's all crap that no one wants.
Yeah. So no, I think we're moving there. I think the next generation is going to definitively take us there.
Hey, Michael, you can officially now pop open a cold one. Have a great ride tonight.
Thank you, Corey. I'll be looking for you. Float 7 front, okay? I've got an Oshun heart for you.
Driver's side or a neutral ground side?
Bro, I'm a Duke. I'm both.
Oh, wow. Nice up front. And float 11?
I'm on 7.
7.
7 heaven.
Lucky number 7, Michael Hecht on Ocean.
Peacock.
Yep. Yell for Michael Hecht tonight. Miguel, have a great ride. Talk to you next week.
Thank you, brother. Talk to you.
Thank you, man. That's Michael Hecht on Chapatoulas and Napoleon, getting ready to ride in Oshun tonight.
Have a fence. You got to see the Fence Man, a locally owned, fully insured fencing company serving the Metro New Orleans area for over 20 years. You got to see the Fence Man. thefenceman-neworleans.com.
Word is, one of the best restaurants in New Orleans isn't even in New Orleans. Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville. Cross the lake and taste what you're missing. Tuesday through Saturday, Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
When USA Today ranked the 10 best must-visit New Orleans restaurants for travelers, Mid-City's own Katie's made the list. USA Today says Scott Craig is chef-owner at Katie's, a much-loved Creole Italian eatery that draws armies of regulars for lunch, brunch, and dinner. A neighborhood spot where locals congregate and New Orleans-style hospitality rules. Indeed it does. Katie's in Mid-City.
Artificial turf custom golf putting greens. Beautiful, functional, zero maintenance. Call New Orleans' own LGD Lawn and Landscapes and get your free estimate.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again. Ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters' 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now. Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
So far, so good. Corey Johnson with your Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Yeah, earlier this hour, we went to Milan, Italy. Fletcher Mackel joining us live from the Olympics. Just a few minutes ago, Michael Heck from Greater New Orleans Inc., live from Tchoupitoulas and Napoleon. He's riding in Ocean tonight. Float 7. Check him out. Yell to Michael, get some throws. Perfect weather, 71, 72 degrees, not a cloud in the sky, deep blue sky. The low tonight will be like 55, just perfect Mardi Gras weather. And this is pretty much the forecast for the next 10 days. Hopefully, they got us, the meteorologists have us through like next Sunday. Tomorrow we'll have it through next Monday. And, by Sunday, we'll know what Mardi Gras Day is going to look like as far as the meteorologist's 10-day forecast. And right now it's 50s and 60s for the next week and a half, and really no rain in sight. Keep your fingers crossed. That would be ideal. Mardi Gras 2026, starting to rock and roll. Yeah, you right. Hey, looking to get a great dinner? Get away from the crowds? Looking for a great place to get dinner? Why don't you head to Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville? There's no driving on the North Shore. I-10's open. You can exit, get on Causeway. No worry about parades. You go right over the parades on the overpass over Vets. In about 22 minutes, right when you get on the Causeway, in about 22 minutes, you're pulling up to the parking lot at Gallagher's 527. Just get on the Causeway, cruise control about 67 miles an hour. Kaboom goes the dynamite, you're there. There's no driving on the North Shore, you South Shore folks. I do this like once a week. I'm at Trey Yen or Gallagher's 527. They're literally across the street from each other, immediately at the foot of the Causeway Bridge. Trey Yen on the left, Gallagher's 527 on the right. Have you been to Gallagher's 527? If you love fine dining in Metro New Orleans, you like to go out to eat and you like great food, not good, not very good, but great food, a great dining experience, you're going to absolutely love Gallagher's 527. It's beyond worth the drive. I would go another 15, 20 minutes driving on the North Shore to get to Gallagher's 527 because it's that good. Two things are going to happen if you go to Gallagher's 527. One, you're going to go Corey's absolutely right. This place is excellent. And 2, you're going to be going again and again and again because it's easy and it's fantastic. Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville, really, really good. I mean, from the gumbo to the turtle soup to the oysters or shrimp wrapped in bacon with the Meunier sauce, the crab meat St. Francis, Warren LaRousse original recipe, I think is the best crab meat appetizer on planet Earth, the best I've ever had. Just so delicious, so tasty, incredible. And then entrees are off the charts, like steaks, lamb chops, sizzling in butter, the mixed grill, the lamb chops, and the North Shore quail from Abita Springs. Fantastic, just delectable. And then some sides they have at Gallagher's, like the Merlaton. Name me a New Orleans restaurant that has seafood Merlaton on the menu. The side is $10 at Gallagher's 527. It'll feed about 4 of you. And you can see it just laced with crab meat and shrimp. Absolutely fantastic. The sweet potato casserole, out of this world. I don't know if it's a side or dessert or like candy. It's just incredibly tasty. There's not a bad thing on the Gallagher's 527 menu. And I didn't even mention like pompano, redfish, tuna, speckled trout, pecan-crusted catfish, scallops. Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville. Lunch Tuesday through Friday. Dinner Tuesday through Saturday night. That means dinner tonight, dinner tomorrow night. You'll love it. Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville. Fantastic. Look, my reputation's on the line when I talk about these clients. You can disagree with me about, Donald Trump or Junket Cantrell or Jeff Landry or, those kind of things. But when I'm talking about these advertisers, these clients on my show that basically hire me to promote their business, there's a lot of clients I say no to because I don't believe in them at that level that I insist on having. I want the very best that New Orleans has to offer. I'm very picky with the clients I select. Every year, there are some clients that want to advertise on the program, and I simply tell them I can't do it. Sometimes there's an obvious conflict, and I can get out of it easily. And other times I just have to say something like, I'm really not that familiar with your place. I'll come try it, and we'll talk about it or something like that. And that's true, but if it doesn't hit this, very good to excellent standard, I'm not going to talk about it. I only promote the best in New Orleans, or my reputation's tarnished. Man, Corey told me to go to Gallagher's 527. We went. It was just mediocre. I don't know what he's talking about. This place wasn't that good. I don't do that. Never will do that. I'm fortunate. I promote a lot of businesses, and I have for 30 years doing this. I'm fortunate. I admit it. But I only promote the best because my reputation's on the line, and your name is all you've got. Your name and your reputation is all you've got. So trust me when I tell you about Gallagher's 527 or any of the advertisers or clients I'm discussing on this program. The very best at what they do in Metro New Orleans and beyond. It is a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Yeah, you're right. Come up in the 5 o'clock powwow. A lot coming your way. Scott Craig's going to join us from Katie's and Francesca Deli. I was at Katie's today for lunch. Get a little preview of Super Bowl 60. Plus, in just a few minutes, when I start the 5 o'clock power hour, I'll tell you the Drew Brees story. By the way, first ballot NFL Hall of Famer. It was official last night. No, Brees, a little BS on the New Orleans story. I think you get from Drew Brees. I'm not dogging Drew Brees at all. I'm like you. I love Drew Brees. Thank God for Drew Brees. What a great ambassador for the city. But I'll tell you the true story of how Drew Brees ended up in New Orleans. And it's a little different from what you hear from Drew Brees and even some sports media in town that sort of, I don't know, I guess they either placate or appeasing Brees in this story, or they don't want to go against Brees and would rather just not tell you the story. I don't think it's a big deal. I'm not, diminishing Drew Brees' greatness in the city or saying anything negative or bad about him. I'm just going to tell you the real true story on how Drew Brees ended up being a New Orleans Saint, and how it changed the narrative of arguably 4 sports teams, 4, but 2 locally that are very, very important. 2 locally, but really 4 in total. That's Blue Boy saying, interesting, Corey. Want to hear about that? All you have to do is stick around. We're coming right back. The 5 o'clock powwow starts right now on a Fantasy Friday edition. Mardi Gras season rocking and rolling. Gotta love that. Let's get it going, Blue Boy. Stick around. A lot coming your way. Don't move.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson. On TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube. On radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM.
Down,
WSLA
Blue Boy.
New Orleans.
It's 5 p.m.
Good boy.
When you need a new fence or automatic gate at your property or place of business, anywhere in Metro New Orleans, you got to see the Fence Man. For over 20 years, the Fence Man has been taking care of residential and commercial customers, uses only the highest quality materials and products.
Because I'm the Fence Man.
For fences and automatic gates.
Yeah, I'm the Fence Man.
TheFenceman-NewOrleans.com.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
My Sittu, that's Arabic for grandmother, used to make the best football kibbe. You can experience kibbe just like my grandmother used to make, and so many other Middle Eastern favorites on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots.
South Shore residents that love good food are making the short trip across the lake to Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville. North Shore folks have known about Gallagher's 527 for years. Now the South Shore has discovered this hidden gem. One of the metro area's best restaurants is less than 30 minutes away. Take the quick trip across the lake and experience Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville. As good as it gets.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again. Ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters' 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now.
Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live, we live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. You know, it's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Oh, yeah, here we go. 5 o'clock power hour on a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. This is New Orleans. 71 degrees, blue sky, sunny, Mardi Gras, ready to roll. Starting to heat up. Gotta love it. Yeah, 71 degrees, the low tonight, 55. Clear, beautiful, comfortable. Get out there and enjoy those Mardi Gras parades, even in Metairie. But if I were you, I'd head to uptown New Orleans and do it right. Knock, knock in Metairie. Metrie's very good. I mean, you get the, parades for, family-oriented, easy. But, I mean, the real stuff's going on in New Orleans. So that's what I recommend. It is a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. A lot coming your way. You just heard that guy. This is New Orleans. That's number 9, Drew Brees. Last night, it was official. Drew Brees, a first ballot NFL Hall of Famer, joining 4 other New Orleans Saints that they're, the primary work that got him in the NFL Hall of Fame done as Saint players, like number 57, Ricky Jackson. I don't have him as the second greatest Saint of all time behind Drew Brees. I have him as 1A. Drew Brees is number 1, and Ricky Jackson's right on his tail, 1A. Willie Roaf, Morton Anderson, Sam Mills. Drew Brees joins them as Saints players in the NFL Hall of Fame. Pretty damn cool. Good stuff. Drew Brees, first ballot NFL Hall of Famer, the first Saint to ever be a first ballot NFL Hall of Famer. That means the moment he was eligible, he got in. No waiting. The Drew Brees story, I hear Drew Brees, and I love Drew Brees like you. Love him. And I want to believe what he says, and I hope what he says is true. And a lot of it is true, but not entirely true. Like, driving around the city and Mickey Loomis got lost, and they end up driving Drew Brees through these, post-Katrina areas that were just decimated, beat up, abandoned. And Drew Brees and Brittany are in the car, and a message from God told them you should come to New Orleans. A little bit of fibbing going on there, a little bit of, Drew Brees kind of, Andy Griffith's show, like Mayberry, apple pie, America kind of thing. A little bit of an exaggeration. I'll never forget. I mean, I'm not hanging my hat on this, just a true story. I interviewed Drew Brees when he was a free agent 20 years ago. And he's leaving San Diego. His next stop was Miami. And I asked Drew Brees a legitimate question. And the New Orleans Saints would supply the media with the free agent people they were bringing in to talk to. Hey, we're bringing in so-and-so. We're, checking him out. We might offer him a contract. He's a free agent. The media can interview him. So I asked Drew Brees a total legitimate question. You come from La Jolla, San Diego, just rich, affluent. You're going down to Miami, South Beach, rich, affluent. How does New Orleans, compete when we just had Katrina? And even before Katrina, we're not this rich, affluent area. I mean, we got places like the Garden District and Uptown and Old Metairie and the North Shore and parts of Kenner and things like that are first class, rich, affluent, wealthy places, no doubt. But not like San Diego, La Jolla, where Brees lives, and not down like in Miami, some parts of Metro Miami. So I asked him that question, and, I think it's a legitimate question. I don't regret it, but I think the Saints were like, man, That's that kind of question where we could lose this guy as a free agent. We don't need to be supplying the media with our free agents. And since then, they stopped doing that. And I understand the Saints' place. I thought it was sort of surprising that they'd bring in free agents and then have them come address the media. I think that would be like the free agent's choice. But whatever. So the Saints nixed that, and I get it. They're probably like, Corey asking that question, my God, we have enough trouble competing as is, and he's going to, throw out the fact that San Diego and Miami are a lot nicer, and these players are millionaires, and they like nice stuff, and they're rich and wealthy, and New Orleans isn't a rich, wealthy town, blah, 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 blah. I get it. So anyway, Drew Brees goes down to Miami, and that really was Drew Brees' first choice. That's not like an opinion. That's a fact based on a lot of information. Nick Saban's the coach at Miami. Nick Saban wanted Drew Brees as his quarterback, just like Sean Payton wanted Drew Brees as his quarterback. And Drew Brees doesn't know much about Sean Payton at all. Sean Payton was, first-time head coach in the NFL with the Saints. Nick Saban had a national championship run at LSU and was very successful at LSU and was a head coach. Michigan State got them winning. So Saban had a reputation as a head coach. Sean Payton had no reputation as a head coach. The Miami Dolphins are a major market team. The New Orleans Saints are a minor market, small market team. So Brees wanted to go to Miami. Nick Saban didn't like this at all, but the Miami doctor said, man, his shoulder is messed up. We don't know if it's going to heal right. We don't know if he's going to be, what he was in San Diego, where he had 5 really good years in San Diego. Very solid NFL quarterback. Top 10, top dozen, top 15 at worst in the NFL when he was in San Diego. So Saban was a little irked. He's like, damn, the team doctor's saying no. I'm fresh here in Miami. I'm not going to override that. That sucks. I'd like to take him anyway. But Saban kind of went with the team doctor, and Miami was out. And the only other suitor for Drew Brees out of all the teams in the NFL were the Saints. So by default, Drew Brees ended up in New Orleans as a Saint. And I love it. Thank God for that. I'm not complaining. I'm just telling you the real story. And a lot of folks already know that part of the story. But it's that significant. There are lots of details to it. Like Peyton wasn't a head coach. He was an unknown commodity. Nick Saban was a head coach at the college level, but a great head coach, a national championship coach. Again, New Orleans, small market. Miami, major market. Brees wanted to go to Miami in spite of driving around with Mickey Loomis. Like the Saints and Mickey Loomis were like upset. Kind of like, God, why is Corey asking that question about San Diego's affluent, Miami's affluent? How does New Orleans compete? Asking Drew Brees that when he was a free agent. Mickey Loomis and the Saints were like, we screwed up. We took a wrong turn at Albuquerque, a left turn at Albuquerque, as Bugs Bunny would say. And we ended up like in the lower 9th ward that was just crushed. Cars flipped upside down, houses totaled, trees with no leaves knocked down, just like a tornado blew through there, like a nuclear bomb went off. No, Loomis and the Saints were like freaking out. We should have known the area better. How did we get lost? They got lost and went to just a kind of crappy area in town as far as Katrina devastation. So the team was upset with themselves and how they screwed up. So thank God the Dolphins doctor didn't think Brees was healthy enough, because Drew Brees would have been a Miami Dolphin. And that would have changed a lot of things with 2 teams locally and 4 teams overall. It would have changed the Miami Dolphins. Brees would have been healthy like he was in New Orleans, and Saban and the Dolphins would have been very good with Drew Brees at quarterback. Would they have put up the prolific numbers that, Brees and Peyton, Sean Payton, the offensive genius, and knowing Brees' strengths and, what little limitations he has, eliminating those? I doubt the numbers would have been as prolific. But Brees would have been very successful as a quarterback. It's Drew Brees. He's focused. Would have been no different from when he was Drew Brees in New Orleans as far as how he approaches the game. So Nick Saban in Miami would have been very successful. Changes the trajectory of that team. Nick Saban probably never would have gone to Alabama. So it changes the trajectory of the Crimson Tide. Les Miles would have been hyper successful at LSU. He was already, won a national championship. And then he's competing against Alabama and Saban. I remember some of the great Saban recruits. Some of the great, like Julio Jones, the wide receiver, Richardson, the running back, and dozens of others throughout, the 15 years or so that Saban was at Alabama. And the 10 years he was there competing against Les Miles. All these players, I shouldn't say all, but many of them, dozens and dozens, their second choice was LSU. It was between LSU and Alabama, and they went to Alabama. Les Miles' recruiting class would have been enhanced even more, and they were great recruiting classes. I mean, the LSU-Alabama rivalry every year for 7-8 years straight was the most coveted, most highly anticipated football game in college football every year. The number one game, that matchup. And Saban got the best of them, but Les Miles had a lot of success. A lot of LSU fans seem to forget that. So the trajectory of LSU with Les Miles as head coach would have been much different. Les Miles probably would have won a national championship, at least one more, and competed in one or two more without Saban at Alabama competing against him and getting some of those Alabama recruits. So the trajectory of the Dolphins, the trajectory of Alabama, the trajectory of LSU and Les Miles, very different. And of course, the trajectory of the black and gold, the Saints, would have been much different. Would Sean Payton have been successful? I think so. I think he's a winning coach. Look what he's doing in Denver. But would he have had as much success that he had with Drew Brees at the controls? I don't think so. I don't think so. Not at all. So Drew Brees, basically one mover, one single person, the Miami Dolphins doctor, changed the trajectory of four teams: the Dolphins, Alabama, and importantly to us, LSU and the Saints. Coming right back on a Friday.
Artificial turf custom golf putting greens. Beautiful, functional, zero maintenance. Call New Orleans' own LGD Lawn and Landscapes and get your free estimate.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots.
Word is, one of the best restaurants in New Orleans isn't even in New Orleans. Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville. Cross the lake and taste what you're missing. Tuesday through Saturday, Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com. There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet. Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line. Lebanon's Cafe. The Fence Man, a locally owned fencing company serving the metro New Orleans area for over 20 years.
I'm the Fence Man.
TheFenceman-NewOrleans.com.
Yeah, I'm the Fence Man.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Scott Craig of Katie's Restaurant.
All of my ingredients are fresh. Nothing comes out of a can here. Nothing. All of our seafood is Louisiana. All of our vegetables are Louisiana vegetables. It's a neighborhood restaurant.
Katie's in Mid-City.
How appropriate. Last hour, Michael Hecht, his Greater New Orleans Inc. commercial about the NOLA Coalition was on, a recorded spot, and then he joins us live. Just now, you heard Scott Craig talking about wonderful Katie's in Mid-City, the recorded commercial, and now we got him live from the French Quarter. What's up, Scott?
What's up, Corey? How are you, my friend?
Doing great, man. What you doing down in the quarters?
We have an event down here tonight at NOLA, and which is a wonderful museum. If you guys haven't been there, you've got to go. It's a quintessential New Orleans museum. And I dropped off the cake, and my staff is handling it. And I decided to meet my wife at Bar Vin with 100 friends, because we all come down here on the first Friday of Mardi Gras. And you would not believe how beautiful and wonderful this city is, and how it's just, this is quintessential New Orleans. I know I've used that word twice, but we do have National Guard. They are working, and it is, if you don't feel safe in New Orleans right now, there's something wrong with it, because this is just absolutely beautiful. The parade was earlier. I missed the parade. But everybody's having a great time. Everybody's reveling. Everybody's in costume. And it's, except for me, I'm in Katie's uniform. But I'm going to do this for a little while, and then I'm going to go back to work. But this is one of the reasons we love New Orleans right now. You don't see this anywhere. I was talking to my wife, Stephanie, about it. I mean, you just don't have this anywhere else in the country, for sure. I know that Rio de Janeiro has a Mardi Gras and whatever, but we are New Orleans.
Yep.
And it's just absolutely beautiful. And the future is so bright for the city. I'm so excited about it. And this is one of the reasons why, right now.
Blue skies, 70 degrees. The low tonight's about 55. The weather's absolutely perfect. The 10-day forecast is perfect. Lots of 50s and 60s. No rain in sight. Let's hope we get that all the way through Mardi Gras. By Sunday, we'll have the 10-day forecast, the prediction by the weather people through Mardi Gras Day. Scott Craig's with us live from the French Quarter, the heart of New Orleans, the heart of Mardi Gras. As Mardi Gras season starts cranking up, Scott, what are y'all doing? There's like lots of tourists around there, lots of good vibe down there, lots of people meandering around the quarters.
Everyone is having a great time in Bar Vin, that's next to the old Absent House. And they're having cocktails, and I am drinking water, but I don't drink a lot. But it's just fun to watch. Yeah, I mean, right now I'm people watching right here on the corner of Bourbon, and can't remember what street this is. I should know that, St. Philip, I think. But it's wonderful, man.
Yep.
Wonderful.
Yep. Got to love New Orleans. Got to love this time of year. You know, a lot of folks are snowed in around the country, and, you know, you can wear shorts and a short sleeve shirt right now and get away with it. Just perfect weather.
This is why in the late 50s, my dad moved the family from Indianapolis to New Orleans. I wasn't born yet, but, you know, I am fortunate enough to be born in this wonderful city, and I'm proud to be a New Orleanian.
Yep.
And this is part of the reason why.
You said the word quintessential. Today I was at the quintessential New Orleans neighborhood restaurant. Went in there with 4 buddies, 5 of us total. Had a great lunch at Katie's in Mid-City, Scott. You ever been there?
Yeah, I've been there a few times.
few times today.
Yeah, I've been in and out all day. Actually, I had to bury a dear lifelong friend that I grew up with today, and I'm gonna give a little shout out to Al Prieto. So I had a funeral today. That's why you missed me at lunch.
Wow.
But yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed everything. You know, I like to be there when my friends come in.
Yeah.
I enjoy having dinner with you Wednesday night. It's great.
Yep. Condolences to your friend today. I know that was a tough day for you. Lunch was fantastic today. I had a fried shrimp platter. One guy had a fried shrimp platter. The other had a fried shrimp po' boy. The other two guys got the pork chop special with the dirty rice off the board, off the special board today. We did it right. Started with onion rings.
Awesome. Appreciate it, man. That's really cool.
Those onion rings are some of the best in the city. What do you, besides just, you know, a nice batter, big rings, freshly battered, freshly fried up perfectly, I'm guessing you add like some Tabasco or Crystal to the mix?
We do add Crystal.
Little spicy.
It's a white flour, and we just season our white flour. We have our own sort of Tony's seasoning that we make. So we toss a little bit of that in there and some in the egg batter so that the onion rings and the fried seafood get that nice spice to it.
Yeah.
You know, the great Tom Fitzmaurice always said we had the best fried seafood in New Orleans. So, you know, I just, you know, we work hard at it, and it's a great place, man. I love Katie's. I love Katie's tremendously, and I just want everybody to support us, man. We've got a great menu this weekend. I do not have it in front of me because I'm in the French Quarter, but I know we do have short rib. We're doing sous vide double cut pork chops. Is that what your friend had today?
Yeah, on the dirty rice with the brown gravy.
The super tender, I'm sure, huh?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, are you kidding me? I could just see them cutting it and eating it. They devoured it.
Because we just started doing the sous vide, I finally gave into it rather than just braising. I decided to do some sous vide stuff, and I've started with pork chops.
You know, Scott,
I know that
you mentioned Tom Fitzmaurice saying you got the best fried seafood. That fried shrimp platter was outstanding, and I know people are like, "Oh, fried shrimp platter, whatever." I mean this when I say this. About 90% of fried shrimp po' boys and fried shrimp platters in Metro New Orleans, I want to have nothing to do with. They're heavy. They're, you know, just filling, and it's just a bunch of batter. The batter pops off. You can see the shrimp underneath. They're poorly done. You don't want to eat them. You're like settling for just something that's not very good. The opposite with yours, the batter, the shrimp, they're one thing. It doesn't pop off and you can see the shrimp. It's not too much batter. It's not heavy. You know, Tom Fitzmaurice was on to something.
He was. I'm a big cornmeal fried oyster guy. I like my oysters fried in seasoned cornmeal. Like Bozo's used to do. I love Bozo's fried seafood.
You sound like Frank Brightson with the catfish appetizer at Brightson's. It's in cornmeal.
Brightson's is top 5 in the city of New Orleans, the whole deal. But
yep.
I do a combination of cornmeal and corn flour because we only have 2 fryers with the gigantic menu we have. We only have 2 fryers, so I have to be careful because cornmeal burns up the oil. And you have to constantly replace it, and we just don't have time to replace it that many times. So I just add cornmeal to the corn flour.
Nice.
And then we season it. It is excellent. I think it's great.
Yep.
Like I tell people, everything on that menu is exactly how I would eat it. So that's what you get when you go to Katie's. The lasagna, it's outstanding. It's my mother-in-law's recipe. You know, like the red gravy is my mother-in-law's recipe. I give in if I know something's better than what I can do. And I'll use a family member's recipe. I don't use other people's recipes, but I will use a family member's recipe.
You mentioned Wednesday night. where you and I sat down and I enjoyed steak night. $39, and it is a 10-ounce filet. It comes with the incredible Katie's potatoes and green beans on the side. You start off with your Caesar salad, which is really great, and then your own bread pudding with the whipped cream, and you pick a cocktail or wine. It's like 6 courses for $39. Tough to beat.
You know, Corey, I have to correct your post and that comment. It is an 8-ounce filet.
All right. You can say 8-ounce all day long. I know what an 8-ounce filet is, and that thing I ate was bigger than 8 ounces. And when I went a few weeks earlier, bigger than 8 ounces. But yeah, I'll go with the owner of the restaurant and the head chef, what he says, 8 ounces. I think it's bigger.
We cut them fresh, and sometimes we forget to weigh them.
Yeah, I think you forgot to weigh mine. Plus, Scott, it's like you cooked it on a Weber. Like it's got like a char flavor to it.
Well, we cook our steaks on the same grill that we cook the charcoal oysters on. So I believe that gives it a better flavor because you're cooking the steaks on the grill where all that oyster butter gets burned onto the grates.
Yep.
And I think it works.
Plus, it's hot. It's very hot.
Yeah. The fact that we have such a small kitchen, I mean, sometimes things come out better because we're using food on top of food.
Yep.
That's just one of those situations.
That's
why, on Sundays and Saturdays when we do brunch, we have to be careful because our flat top, we're grilling fish, stuff like that. And when we do pancakes and waffles, we have to do them in a pan.
Yep.
We have to do them separately because we're doing a lot of salty things that would not work with a waffle or a pancake or something like that. I mean, it might work, but you don't want your pancake to taste like fish.
No, exactly. No doubt. Katie's tonight for dinner, brunch and dinner tomorrow night, brunch on Sunday, lunch and dinner every weekday. Katie's in Mid-City. And don't forget Francesca Deli in Lakeview, in between Canal Boulevard and West End. It's seafood night, great pizzas, deli sandwiches, killer roast beef. Francesca Deli. Hey, Scott, any final parting words till we visit again next week?
Yeah, we got to talk about the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah, real quick. You got 20 seconds. What, Super Bowl 60?
Right now, I think I'm right now. I'm going with the Patriots in the points, the 5 points. Tonight I have the Heat and the Celtics under 227.5. And I have St. John's plus 1.5 at home against UConn. They got to win.
They got to win.
They got to win.
Scott Craig, always a pleasure, brother. Have a great time down in the quarter.
I will. Come down, see New Orleans. Come to Katie.
Yep. Later.
All right, brother.
That's Scott Craig down in the French Quarter. We are killing it today. We visited with Fletcher Mackel live from Milan, Italy. We visited with Michael Hecht live from Napoleon and Tchoupitoulas for Ocean. And we're just hooking up with Scott Craig live in the French Quarter. It's Mardi Gras in New Orleans. Doesn't get any better than this.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet, Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
If you got to have a fence, you got to see the Fence Man, a locally owned, fully insured fencing company serving the metro New Orleans area for over 20 years. You got to see the Fence Man, thefenceman-neworleans.com. Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live, we live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. You know, it's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Artificial turf custom golf putting greens. Beautiful, functional, zero maintenance. Call New Orleans' own LGD Lawn and Landscapes and get your free estimate.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience. Right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
South Shore residents that love good food are making the short trip across the lake to Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville. North Shore folks have known about Gallagher's 527 for years. Now the South Shore has discovered this hidden gem. One of the metro area's best restaurants is less than 30 minutes away. Take the quick trip across the lake and experience Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville. As good as it gets.
Yeah, you're right. Welcome back. 5 o'clock Power Hour continues on this Fantasy Friday. Mardi Gras starting to, get a little roll going. I said earlier in the week, we were like in first gear for Mardi Gras. We've officially engaged the clutch and shifted into second gear. Next week, Uptown New Orleans parades every single night will be officially in third gear. By next weekend, as we fade into next weekend with, Endymion Saturday, Bacchus Sunday, Orpheus Monday, we're in fourth gear, and then Tuesday, fifth gear. Yeah, I'm going old school, manual transmission, a 5-speed, 4-speed with an overdrive. You remember? Yeah, if you're, over 40, maybe you remember. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Absolutely outstanding weather for like the next 10 days. Tough to beat. Right now, it's 67 degrees and sunny in New Orleans. The low tonight is around 55 degrees. By overnight, we're going to get down to like 50. And in the morning, it might be like, if you're waking up like me, 6 a.m., 7 a.m., it's going to be like maybe 48, 49. But for you parade goers, 55 is sort of the low tonight. And then the weather forecast. Now, this is just prediction. This is meteorologists and their forecast for the next 10 days, which leads us to next Sunday. Lots of 50s and 60s. Some mornings we might wake up and it's 48, 49, 50. Some afternoon highs might be in the low 70s, like 70, 71, 72 like today. But primarily for the next 10 days, no rain and 50s and 60s in Metro New Orleans. Just outstanding weather for Mardi Gras. Tomorrow we'll be all the way through Lundi Gras next Monday with the forecast. And then on Sunday, they'll have the meteorologists will have the 10-day forecast, which leads us all the way into Mardi Gras Day. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Lundi Gras and Mardi Gras, a rinse and repeat of what is being forecast for the next 10 days. Lots of 50s and 60s. Some, you right weather for Metro New Orleans, just what the doctor ordered for Mardi Gras. Really tough to beat. Tough to beat. A Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Donald Trump's social media posts with the Obamas, Barack Obama, Michelle Obama, their face on apes in the jungle. I mean, if you don't think that's racist, you don't understand what racism means. You don't understand the plight of Black Americans. You don't understand some of the tropes or, individuals said and used against Black Americans. So any Black person and you're calling them a monkey or an ape or something, it is racist. It's different from calling white people that because it was never used against white people in a hateful, racist way. So Donald Trump posts this on his social media, and Caroline Leavitt, the greatest press secretary ever. I mean, some of you MAGA folks have lost your mind. Isn't Caroline Leavitt the greatest press secretary ever? I mean, relax a little. Why all this greatest ever crap? Friggin' press secretary. I mean, most people couldn't name 5 press secretaries, 2 or 3 press secretaries, but this is the greatest ever, huh? Just so dopey and silly, and you desperately need to get a life. She defends it. Oh, it was from the Lion King. It's not a big deal, blah, blah, blah. And now a lot of backtracking going on at the White House, and even Donald Trump removed that post. No, just so racist, just absolutely crazy and insane, and then trying to justify it. But, Donald Trump, I think when you had the guy who was handicapped and Donald Trump made fun of him, flailing his arms, that would have been the end for most people. I mean, who was it? Kane, the guy who made that yell running for president as a Democrat, made some goofy yell, some weird sound, and that cost him the election. He was out from that. Dukakis riding around in the tank with the goofy headgear on, bouncing around. Michael Dukakis out. Can't be president. That wrecked his campaign. Donald Trump, doing that, imitating some handicapped guy. Normally you would be done, just egregious, no problem. And I'm sure this, Michelle and Barack Obama's face superimposed on apes in the jungle, no problem for Donald Trump. Now, I love the Donald Trump MAGA folks on they've got some kind of internal, osmosis, some kind of way oh, Donald Trump didn't mean that. That was a joke. Oh, no, he meant that. Oh, really? What did he? Does he itch his ear? Does he scratch his head? Does he rub his nose or his chin? And that's a sign that it's a joke and he doesn't mean it. Or he, pulls on his other ear or rubs his, forehead, and that means he means it. It's amazing how Trump folks just, no matter what he does, they justify it. I mean, I've said this before. Donald Trump could come into some MAGA folks' house and sleep with their wife. And they would say, yeah, I wasn't sleeping with her enough. I get why he did it, and it's okay. It's crazy, just justifying anything he does. I got a lot of conservative Republican friends. A lot. I have liberal and Democrat friends. I respect the ones that are oh, Trump is obnoxious. He's on social media too much. He's absurd with that stuff. He's over the top. He's ridiculous. He's insecure. He's an egomaniac. But I'm not voting for the Democrats. How could I vote for Kamala Harris? How could I vote for Biden? I mean, I get that, and I respect that. You don't like liberal policies, don't like the liberal ideology. That's fine. But at least acknowledge Donald Trump and, his problems, his weaknesses, his insecurities, his ego. But, a lot of MAGA folks just justify anything the guy does and then takes it over the top. Greatest president of all time. Just so ridiculous. Greatest press secretary of all time. I mean, seriously, it's aisle 7 at Walmart down low. It's a life. You need to get one. I mention this all the time, the extremes on the left and right. It's equal. The loony left and the wacky right. It is equal. These lunatics, they're the squeaky wheels. They get the grease right now. But eventually Americans, Republican, Democrat, Independent, Libertarian, they're going to say enough's enough. We want both sides to work together. And these folks are going to be ostracized. And the last generation plus, lots of video of them being divisive. Work with the other side. You're a sellout. You're a traitor. Our side only, our ideology exclusively. No, it's a nightmare right now in America, this partisan political environment. Terrible. Corey Johnson with you. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. For all your backyard residential or commercial fencing needs, or if you need an automatic gate, you got to see the Fence Man. thefenceman-neworleans.com. Wood, aluminum, chain link. When you need a fence or an automatic gate for your home, business, or any property, you got to see the Fence Man. thefenceman-neworleans.com. Check them out online. You can trust them. Jimmy put a fence about 125 linear feet in my backyard. Cedar fence, capped the top, a little running board along the bottom. Absolutely fantastic. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. On the Tulane campus, it looks like a couple of, at least one electric car caught on fire, catching a few other cars parked next to it on fire. The Dieball parking garage at Tulane, orange flames, black smoke billowing out of it this afternoon. They've got it under control, but, now they've closed that parking lot indefinitely. I don't think there's any damage to the structure. It's a heavy-duty concrete structure, but they're going to get it checked out by engineers and the like, and then they'll reopen it. But that was kind of a crazy scene. Drew Brees last night, the NFL made it official. Drew Brees, an NFL first ballot Hall of Famer. How cool is that? First Saint to ever be a first ballot. Like, immediately when eligible, you get in. A few other Saints have made it, 4 to be exact, where most of their work was done in a Saints uniform, recognized as Saints players primarily, including not the second best Saint ever, but right on Drew Brees' tail. Drew Brees is number 1. I have Ricky Jackson as 1A. And then some other great Saints that are NFL Hall of Famers, like the city champ, number 57, Ricky Jackson. Willie Roaf, one of the best left tackles in football, an all-decade player, 2 decades. Morton Anderson, one of the best kickers in NFL history, an all-decade player, 2 decades. And the field mouse, Sam Mills, number 51, as good as it gets, like the Mike Singletary of the Saints. They're all NFL Hall of Famers. Drew Brees officially joined them last night. What a great story. I mean, beloved in New Orleans, changed the Saints, brought the lowly Saints. I mean, the Saints' first 20 years, just a disaster, never a winning season. And then Jim Finks comes along, who was almost NFL commissioner, who built up the, Minnesota Vikings, who built the Chicago Bears, who built the Saints. And then Jim Mora of the USFL coming in as head coach and, former Marine, just making it a respected organization for the first time ever. Late 80s into the 90s. The Dome Patrol defense, great defense, an offense that got a lot of criticism, very conservative, run-oriented, ball control with Bobby Hebert, but Carl Smith's offense, no one was complaining when the Saints had the ball for 45, 46, 47 minutes. Those were great times, great times. The only bad thing about Jim Mora's era and Jim Finks, the Saints happened to be in the same division as the San Francisco 49ers. At that time, the greatest dynasty in the history of the NFL. Joe Montana and the Niners, Coach Walsh and the West Coast offense. The Saints won under Jim Finks and Jim Mora 12 games 2 times. 12 games 2 times in the regular season and weren't division champs. I guarantee you, if you look up the history of the NFL, teams that have won 12 games and weren't their division champions getting a playoff bye, besides the 2 with the Saints, you could count the rest of them on one hand. There might have been like 2 or 3 others. The Saints 2 times, 12 wins, and San Francisco won the division. So Finks and Mora were a lot more successful maybe than people give them credit for. Like Ricky Jackson is 1A to Drew Brees, his greatest Saint player of all time. Jim Mora is coach 1A behind Sean Payton. Sean Payton's like Drew Brees, number 1. But I don't have Jim Mora as number 2 coach. I have him as 1A. 1A. No, and then all of a sudden Hazlitt comes in and Randy Mueller and some success there. The Saints' first ever playoff win. Mike McCarthy, now the Pittsburgh head coach. 4 of the 5 greatest offenses were his offenses with the Saints. And then, of course, Brees and Peyton in the Super Bowl win. Fantastic.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Scott Craig of Katie's Restaurant.
All of my ingredients are fresh. Nothing comes out of a can here. Nothing. All of our seafood is Louisiana. All of our vegetables are Louisiana vegetables. It's a neighborhood restaurant.
Katie's in Mid-City.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again. Ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters' 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now.
Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
Word is, one of the best restaurants in New Orleans isn't even in New Orleans. Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville. Cross the lake and taste what you're missing. Tuesday through Saturday, Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville.
TM-JC.com, your cool spots. TM-JC.com, your cool spots.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on Magazine, as unique as you.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Outdoor dining, Middle Eastern cuisine, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, some of the city's finest lamb chops and shish kebab, Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn, Lebanon's Cafe. If you gotta have a fence, you gotta see the Fence Man, a locally owned, fully insured fencing company serving the metro New Orleans area for over 20 years. You gotta see the Fence Man, thefenceman-neworleans.com.
Yeah, you right. Corey Johnson with you. 5 o'clock powwow continues. Hey, Young's Dry Cleaning. You want to experience the best dry cleaner? I'll make it simple. youngsdrycleaning.com. It's all you need to know. Experience the best. youngsdrycleaning.com. They've been at it since 1940, before the United States got into World War II. Old school walk-up locations. Today's preferred method of dry cleaning. Free pickup and delivery, East Bank or West Bank. And the future of dry cleaning, their manless locker locations all over the city. To sign up for free pickup and delivery, to find out if manless locker locations are near where you live or work, youngsdrycleaning.com. youngsdrycleaning.com. It's a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Drew Brees, first ballot NFL Hall of Famer. Boy, there's one single person that, a single man that changed the trajectory of 4 sports teams: the LSU Tigers, the New Orleans Saints, the Alabama Crimson Tide, and the Miami Dolphins. One single man changed the trajectory of all 4 teams, for the better or for worse. And that man is the team doctor for the Miami Dolphins. Drew Brees was going to the Dolphins, and the team doctor said he's not healthy. You have to remember the entire story. Drew Brees leaving San Diego as a free agent. He visits New Orleans. Sean Payton is an unknown commodity to everyone in the world, including Drew Brees. Offensive guy out of Dallas, was with the Giants, never a head coach. Drew Brees had no idea what Sean Payton was about, what Sean Payton was going to bring as a head coach. Had no idea. An unproven commodity to the world, including Drew Brees. Nick Saban, on the other hand, never an NFL coach, but a premier college football coach. Got Michigan State winning, brought LSU to dominance. The premier team in college football within 4 or 5 seasons, including a national championship. So Brees knew that Saban could coach. And Brees comes to visit New Orleans. The Saints organization literally takes a left turn at Albuquerque, and Mickey Loomis, driving him around the city, not knowing where he's going, leads Brees into the decimated, devastated lower Ninth Ward. Like an earthquake, tornado, atomic bomb went off. This is post-Katrina, months after. And the Saints were like, we dropped the ball. We screwed up. We're trying to recruit this guy to New Orleans, and we bring him into this neighborhood. So regardless of Brees saying on that trip, my wife and I looked at each other and we said, God wants us here. We're here to help New Orleans, and that's why we decided to come to New Orleans. I love Drew Brees, like you love Drew Brees. That's a little bit of an exaggeration or an embellishment. I think that's a feel-good story Brees made up after the fact. Brees was going to the Miami Dolphins. That's where he wanted to go. Saban, major market, going to Miami. Brees comes from San Diego, affluent, lots of money. Miami, the same thing. New Orleans, small market. Miami, large market. He's going to the Dolphins. Proven commodity, Nick Saban, winning coach. Sean Payton, Brees has no idea who he is. Doesn't know his rep as a head coach because he never was a head coach. He goes down to Miami, ready to hook up with the Dolphins. Saban wants him. And the Miami doctor says his shoulder's injured. We don't know what it's going to do. He's probably not going to be healthy to play this year well enough. He has limitations, on and on and on. So the Dolphins nix the deal. That doctor. Saban talks about it today, how he regrets it, how he wish he would have overruled it. So all of a sudden, there are no other NFL suitors for Drew Brees. None. There are no other NFL teams that wanted Drew Brees. And by default, because of the Dolphins coach, the Dolphins physician saying he's not healthy, by default, Drew Brees ends up being a New Orleans Saint. Thank God for that Dolphin doctor. Huh? So it changed the trajectory of the Dolphins. Nick Saban would have been successful with Drew Brees. I'm not saying he would have been as successful as Sean Payton and the Saints were with Drew Brees. That was a match made in heaven. Sean Payton ends up being a great head coach, ends up being a mastermind offensive coordinator, like a genius, and took Drew Brees' strengths and maximized them and made him one of the most prolific, best quarterbacks in NFL history, a first ballot NFL Hall of Famer, one of the best ever at the position. Would Saban in Miami have done the same? I don't think so. I don't know how you can say they would. But would have Saban and Drew Brees been successful in Miami? Yes, I think they would have been. And I think Saban would have stayed in the NFL for a while. One of the reasons he left the Dolphins after 2 years, no QB and no light at the end of the tunnel until a QB was found. So that doctor in Miami changed the trajectory of the Dolphins. It changed the trajectory of the Saints, obviously. It changed the trajectory of Alabama. Saban leaves the Dolphin and goes to Alabama. We know the history there. And then it changed the trajectory slightly of LSU. And why I say that is because Les Miles was a damn good coach, underappreciated by LSU fans. They seem to key in on his weaknesses more than his strengths. He was a tenacious recruiter, a pretty damn good coach. And without Saban at Alabama, LSU would have continued to dominate. And a lot of Saban's recruits, it was between LSU and Alabama. Like, no Saban in Alabama, LSU's landing the Julio Jones, and Les Miles' already stellar recruiting classes would be enhanced even more. So Les Miles and LSU probably would have won another championship or two, gone to other championships. So a single human being, one man, the Miami Dolphins physician, doctor, team doctor, changed the trajectory of the Dolphins, changed the trajectory of the Alabama Crimson Tide, changed the trajectory of the LSU Tigers, and changed the trajectory, obviously, of the New Orleans Saints. One individual. No, I love Drew Brees. And he embraced New Orleans, and he loves the city. He loves us, raised his kids here, did it right, bought a house in Uptown, right on Audubon Park, all of that. Loves the city still to this day. Thank God for Drew Brees and his time in New Orleans. Some of the best times, if you're a Saints fan, ever. As good as it gets for like 15 years, relevant. But when Brees says, in that car with Mickey Loomis seeing decimated New Orleans after Katrina, my wife and I realized, God sent us here for a reason to help New Orleans, and the community was more than football, is a little bit of an embellishment and exaggeration. Brees was heading to the Dolphins and came to New Orleans by default because the Dolphins doctor said he's not healthy, and there were no other NFL teams looking at him. But I'll take that every day of the week. Thank you, Dolphins physician. Thank you, Dolphins physician. Hey, everybody, have a great, safe Mardi Gras. O'Shawn is rolling tonight in Uptown. Michael Hecht joined us live from the parade route. He's on float 7. Yell to Michael Hecht and get some good throws. That's Blue Boy saying, what, buddy? You want to go to the parade tonight and catch some goodies from Michael Hecht? I hear you. No, thanks to Michael for joining us live on the parade route. Fletcher Mackel joining us live from Milan, Italy in the Olympics. And Scott Craig joining us live from the French Quarter. See you Monday, 4 o'clock. Have a great weekend. The weather's cooperating. Get out there.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also
Blue
on
Boy.
YouTube, on radio at
Blue.
NOLA Talk 93.9 FM,
Blue.
WSLA
Quiet.
New Orleans.
It's 6 p.m.
Good boy. Good boy.